This is a tutorial for Unreal Editor 2 for the original Unreal Tournament Game of the Year edition. In this video we will cover UnrealScript. Before we begin, here are some tools that will make your life easier as you work with UnrealScript. The first thing you will need is a good text editor. And you have a couple choices here. A lot of people like to use Notepad++, which is not to be confused with the regular Notepad. Or you can use Context. Both are free. The slight advantage goes to Context because you are able to color code your code to match what you see in the Unreal Editor. So what you would do is you would go to the Unreal Wiki. I'm going to provide all the links in the description below. You come down here, do a search for Context, and at the bottom there's something here called UnrealScript Highlighter. So as you start to write your code in Context, you will see the same color coding as you do in the Unreal Editor. The next thing you will need, which is super useful, is a full overview of all the UnrealScript code in the game. And here, this one is a web version, so I will provide the link down below. And as you can see, you can browse every single class and then view the source code and also do a check for what are the functions, variables, and default properties. So this is super useful. You can also go to UT99.org for all of your UT99 questions. I'm going to provide a link to this particular thread where you can see the web version, but also you can download your own offline version. The final thing you will have to download to make your life easier is Umake version 1.2. Again, there's multiple places where you can download it. You look for this username, Wormbo, and this is what you're going to use to compile your code. I know that most tutorials refer to UCC Make, which is in the Unreal Ed console, but when you use UCC Make, you have to continually delete your package if you make changes and you want to recompile, so this takes care of all of that for you. The final requirement would be familiarization with object-oriented programming. I myself am not a developer, so I don't use UnrealScript very much, but if you really want to get into UnrealScript, it's going to help a lot if you have previous development experience. At the very least, you can look for videos, tutorials on object-oriented programming. Here I'm referring to lynda.com because you can get a free month trial, and also you can learn an object-oriented language such as Java, C++, or JavaScript. And with JavaScript you can get the whole free tutorial here at w3schools.com. So you could argue that you don't need to be a developer to get into UnrealScript, but I believe it's going to make your life a lot easier because you'll be able to read and understand the code faster as opposed to just using pure brute force by going through each class. So check that out if you have the time. Now let's get into our example for your first UnrealScript. Here is a weapons mod for Unreal Tournament original version, and it's called Counter-Strike Weapons. And I'm just going to show you the folder structure because you will need to do the same thing with your custom packages. So here's the folder. The folder is called CSS Weapons 1.1. Then when you open this up, you will see the following subfolders. So you will see a classes folder, which you will need, models folder, which you will need if you are introducing a new model. As an example, if you're making a new model for a new weapon in Unreal Tournament. And then of course sounds and textures. This is key because you probably have weapon sounds as an example, and you will also have a custom texture for your custom weapon. So in this particular tutorial, because I'm just doing a very basic UnrealScript lesson, I won't be using any of these except for classes, but just be aware that if you're going to make a whole new weapon, you will need models, sounds, and textures at the very minimum. So now for this tutorial, here I am in the root folder of Unreal Tournament Game of the Year Edition, and now I'm going to make a new folder, and this is going to be my custom package. So you can make any folder as long as it's unique, and is not a name of one of the existing UT packages. So here I'm calling it smearcat mod. Then inside I have to make one for classes. Here's where I'm going to be putting my script, and then I'm going to show you how to compile this script. Let's say I would like to change some properties for the enforcer. First thing you would do is come here to the classes, look for enforcer, and here you will see all of the source code for the enforcer. So the first line, if we're going to make a new one, is you need to create a new name for the enforcer class. You do not want to use the existing names. So here you would type in, as an example, my enforcer, and then that would be an extension of the UT's version of the enforcer. It's going to take all of the code, and then here in the code, the rest of the code, you only need to change the properties that you want to. Then you come here to the firing of the weapon, which is here, and you can see that there's another function called play anim, so you want to look that up first. You scroll up, click on glossary, and then click on that. And when you click on the function, you will now be able to see the source code, and you can see that it requires a rate right here, and that is going to be the rate of fire. So you go back to the enforcer code, grab that particular source code, and you're going to take just this piece, copy that over to your file, and the only thing here now is you want to increase the rate. So instead of 0.5, let's go to 2. The next thing you want to do in the enforcer is you scroll all the way to the bottom where it says default properties. So you will see this in the code for every actor, and here you can see hit damage is 17. So what you want to do is simply copy this piece, and instead of 17, let's make it 100. And remember to close the bracket like so. So all we've done to change the enforcer is we've increased the rate of fire and increased the hit damage. And we're calling it my enforcer so as not to touch the original weapon. So this is ready to go. All you need to do now is save that file in your package folder under classes and give it a name. And that's your first script to change the enforcer. The next thing I will show you is the HealthVial. So again, come here until you see HealthVial, and as you can see, it takes all of the properties of its parent, which is called Tournament Health. So if I show you in the editor, it's going to be under Inventory, Pickup, Health, Tournament Health, and there's the HealthVial there. And there's the code. Not a lot of code there. So let's go back to the web. Here's the HealthVial, the original one. Here's the source code. All you have really is, as always, a declaration at the top of where you're extending it from. So we'll need this piece. Copy that. Make a new file here. Change this to UnrealScript. And again, we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to call it So this is my personal health file. Come back to the source code, you will see again default properties. Copy that over. And instead of 5, let's make it 10. Always remember to close the bracket. Save this as my health file. And you're done. So now you've created 2 scripts, one for your personal enforcer and one for your personal health file. Now the next part is to compile this code. So I have 2 windows here just to show you what you need to do to compile. Here is the name of your custom package. I've called it smearcadmod, and all you have to do is drag this into your executable called Umake. So I take this and drag it into Umake like that. Now you will see that in the system folder a new .u file has been created. That's what contains the custom code. And if you'd like to use this new inventory in your editor, you will need to come back to UnrealTournament.ini. And where it says Edit Packages, you will need to put the name of your new mod there. Now when you reopen Unreal Tournament, you will see your custom enforcer. And the custom health file as well. So let's put that into our map. So these are my custom health files. And now let's rebuild and save and test. So when you start the game, you have the original enforcer. Okay, throw that out. Now here's the new enforcer. And we'll take the original one, and you can see with one shot I can't kill him, but if I change to the other one, first blood. So you can see it does more damage. And then the next thing are the custom health files, and you see they pick 10 health instead of 5. So this is just an introductory tutorial to get you started on the tools and what you need to start coding, and you can obviously go to the web and do more follow-ups. And if you have any questions about UnrealScript as you get more advanced, I recommend you go to UT99.org, come here to Coding and Scripting, And here you will have experts on UnrealScript who can answer any questions that you may have, because as I mentioned, I'm not a coder myself. I will give thanks to JackGriffin here, who helped me a lot to make this particular tutorial. But I encourage you to go over there, and if you haven't already, create an account and be part of the discussion over there.